Hi there, welcome. This is our assignment, Leadership in Digital and Collaborative Learning, assignment 2. Kia ora, I'm Natasha.
And I'm Kim.
He waka eke noa, a canoe in which we are all in with no exceptions. So we're all in this together, this change.
Leading this implementation of a digital and collaborative change, we're going to do this by considering the stakeholders, reflecting on leadership theories, and providing justification through research.
So, pedagogical leadership, this is we feel the underlying leadership style that runs throughout our change that we wish to implement, because of course it focuses on the teaching and learning to improve student outcomes.
So these are our reflections on our maths program. Currently, our maths program activities are paper dominated, with children completing some tasks online with the use of Maths Buddy. However, the majority of tasks are completed on worksheets that have been printed out or completed in their maths books. And although there is nothing wrong with this, we want to make more of their learning visible online for their parents to see at home, so they are able to better support their children with their learning. And this is why we want to incorporate online workbooks.
So our current practice, we are part of the Tokipunamu cluster, and under that we are required to have a greater amount of work that is visible online for both students and the parents. The pedagogy underlying the Tokipunamu is the Learn, Create, Share, which, as the Executive Chair Manaia Kalani says, aims to raise student achievement in some of the most deprived economic areas and engage parents, whānau across the board. So we follow the Learn, Create, Share model, and our change initiative will make the students' learning more visible and accessible to others.
So here we have 2 images come from the Tokipunamu project, and these images reflect the aspirations of the cluster Tokipunamu that we're involved in, where the learning needs to be visible, accessible, and purposeful.
So reflections of our leadership practice, we both feel that naturally we are transformational leaders. We both have high expectations for learning in our classes, and we feel that we communicate effectively with all stakeholders in our school community. During this process of introducing the workbooks, we will need to also take on a range of different leadership styles.
So transformational leadership, well, when we're sharing our concept, we hope that we will be transformational leaders. We intend to motivate the students in our classrooms as well as other members of staff when introducing this initiative. We will effectively communicate with all stakeholders and have high expectations and goals. This will hopefully give purpose and direction to the children in their work, and they will want to complete the workbooks to a high standard.
So, agile leadership. Using this leadership style, we intend to inspire the children to take this change on board and actually see the value of the change. Taking on this change, we hope that we empower the students to have greater opportunities to self-manage their learning. The use of workbooks gives opportunities also for rewindable learning and the opportunity for parents and whānau to actually engage in their child's learning. The workbook not only has the activities that the children need to complete, but it also has the knowledge and the information that they will need to solve the tasks or solve the activities. And also for parents who may not have that understanding, the knowledge is there for them to view so they can actually help their children at home.
Cool. So our change initiative is that we want to implement a 6-month program where children use Google Slides as their workbooks in mathematics. So these Google Slides will contain what the children are learning about in maths for their group work. It will include the WALTs that they are working on, information about the subject, and it will contain activities that the children can work through during the week independently. The children make a copy of the workbook and will embed it onto their blog at the beginning of the week for everyone to see what they are learning and how they are going.
So our stakeholders, we have of course our students, well these are our primary stakeholders, and we're doing this for their benefit and with the hope that it will engage them and motivate them to complete their maths tasks independently. Also, of course, our stakeholders are our parents and whānau. We want them to be able to engage in their child's learning. We want them to be able to see what the children are learning about, and we want them to help their children. Also, our stakeholders are the staff and our syndicate, and also throughout the whole school. So hopefully once successful, they will also become engaged in this initiative as well.
The stakeholders can be grouped into 5 subgroups. We've got the innovators, the early adopters, early majority, late majority, and the laggards.
So innovators is us as the teachers. We are the innovators in our school, and we are introducing this concept to our students. We have seen something similar in other schools, and we're confident that this will work for our children. We believe this concept will grab the children's attention and motivate them to achieve a high standard in their maths work.
The early adopters are our students. The students are the early adopters. Our children embrace the change opportunities readily and are very comfortable taking on board new ideas. All of our children are familiar with using Google Slides, making copies of the work required, embedding work onto their blogs, and making quality comments on others' work.
So this is the diffusion of innovation model, and as you can see, the different groups, innovators, early adopters, early majority, late majority, and our laggards. So the early majority, the other teachers in our syndicate. So early majority do adopt new ideas before the average person. Typically, early majority need to see evidence that the innovation works before they are willing to adopt it. So we will need to record and document and show the success of this innovation to the other teachers in our syndicate, who will then be able to implement this within their own classroom practice.
The late majority are the other teachers in the school. These teachers will be waiting to see whether this approach is going to be successful before agreeing to use it in the classroom program. And if all goes well, we will share the success of this program school-wide. This group will only take on an innovation after it has been tried by the majority. We will need to appeal to this group by giving information on how other people have tried the innovation and if it has worked successfully.
So the laggards, we do see that there will be a small group of children who choose not to participate in set tasks that are online. We have these already. They are adverse to change and have been particularly hard to get on board with devices, if at all. One option, of course, is to try some pressure from their peers that are in the early adopters group, who are likely to take this change on board very quickly. We also foresee a very small number of teachers who will fit into this group. These are teachers who inconsistently refuse to change and adapt aspects of their teaching practice, particularly if it's ICT based.
So the scope of the program. So students will be making copies of the workbooks, which will be done on Google Slides. They will be completing their work online. They will be sharing their workbooks on their blogs. They'll be commenting on others' workbooks and success criteria. And this will hopefully engage the whānau and hard-to-move students. And this program focuses on 21st century skills, communication, problem solving, and collaboration.
Mm-hmm. So the plan. So if we're looking at the innovators, that's us. We're going to create the templates for the workbooks. We're going to incorporate the workbooks into our planning. We're going to continue to adapt them when required. And for the early adopters, they will be introduced to the workbooks. They're going to teach them how to copy, how to embed the workbooks. They're going to be independently working on the workbooks, and they're going to comment on others and give feedback. When we look at early majority, with them we will share examples of the workbooks to our teachers in our syndicate, and we will share the successes and hopefully no failures of the workbooks. Late majority, we've got to share this examples of successful workbooks. We've got to give them templates of workbooks that they could use within their classes. We've got to actually show them workbooks being used on blogs and comments that are being made. They need to see them working successfully. And for our laggards, we'll continue to actually promote them and try to get them involved. We'll run tutorials for staff who are not familiar with them, and we'll make sure that we continue to share those successes of the workbooks.
So the workbook is an online learning book that includes knowledge and information about the math skills that they are learning about at that time. It also includes independent tasks that the students complete during the week. So on a Monday, the students must make a copy of the workbook and embed this on their blog. And from there, students and teachers, we can keep track on how they are progressing, and parents can see if they want to get backed.
Do you know what I was thinking too? Go back, because we said inconsistently.
Yes, I know.
I was reading it, because you know how you used to look